We don't need notes. Who needs notes? Well, hey there guys, it's your friendly neighborhood YouTube movie critic Tom here. Thank you for swinging by my movie channel, and thank you very much for joining me for this, my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But before we get into today's review, if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there and ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. Are you looking forward to seeing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Jump down below and let me know your thoughts on the movie, or have you already seen it? I'd be very interested to know what you thought of the movie, so let's carry on this discussion in the comment section down below. Okay, so Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the story of Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and through a portal that opens up, he comes into contact with all the other Spider-Men in the universe. Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, Peter Porker, the Spider-Ham, Noir Spider-Man, all these different Spider-Men from all these different universes, and they have to team up to take this portal down. So, when I first saw the trailers for Into the Spider-Verse, when I first heard the concept of this movie and that Sony was doing this animated Spider-Man movie, I thought, that sounds like a really stupid idea. I didn't like the idea at all. I wasn't keen on it. I thought this thing's just going to be a little throwaway movie. And then the second trailer came out, and that really hit me. I really got on board with this movie. I was really invested in that trailer. The trailer made me laugh. It was exciting, and it really took my anticipation for this movie from like a 5 right up to an 8. So the first thing I really enjoyed about Into the Spider-Verse is the animation style. This style of animation, I think, is something that we haven't really seen before. It's very unique, it's very different. It has this sense of like realism to it, like they look like real human beings, but it's like a hyper-real version. And I don't quite know how to describe the style, but it's very unique. If you've seen the trailers, you know what I'm talking about. In the movie, it just looks even better than it does on the small screen, like on YouTube. Some of the shots even look like this movie was made to be seen in 3D. I didn't see it in 3D, and I don't actually like 3D. I'm not a fan of 3D, but I think this movie, more than anything else I've seen this year, lends itself to that 3D. I'd be very interested to actually go and see a 3D screening of Into the Spider-Verse, because some of the effects look completely, the word I use is dope for this film. Like, the effects look dope. The action sequences that happen with all these spider people that team up and have to take on the villain and all this stuff, it just looks amazing. And the choreography in animation, as we've seen throughout the years, like, it's gotten better and better and better. And I feel like Into the Spider-Verse just kind of pushes this animation to its limits. And the filmmakers behind Into the Spider-Verse, I feel like they really, chose to tell this story and really just go absolutely bananas with it. I really appreciate that Sony was okay with this movie and let this movie happen, because it's so different. It's so unique. It's a fresh take on comic book movies and superhero movies. And I thoroughly enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse, like really, really enjoyed it. I was invested in these characters, the character of Miles Morales, who I didn't know much about prior to seeing this movie. I knew a little bit, but not a lot, so I was really invested in that character. The Peter Parker character, voiced by Jake Johnson, is quite awesome. I love that character, man. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to acknowledge that Nicolas Cage voices Spider-Man Noir. That's not a spoiler, it's in the posters, you've seen it, you know Nicolas Cage is in this film. But yeah, Nick Cage, awesome. The other thing I really, really liked about Into the Spider-Verse is the little references and Easter eggs to previous Spider-Man movies. Some of those references and Easter eggs, I won't give them away, but some of them really just made me so nostalgic for this character and for, the original Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man Homecoming, the Spider-Man PS4 game. I just wanted to rush home and play the game again, because this movie just reminds you why you love Spider-Man so much. This movie's also incredibly funny. This movie was produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Thankfully, they didn't hijack this movie and just go completely off script like they did with Solo: A Star Wars Story. They weren't fired off this movie 80% of the way through production. This movie is produced by them, so of course it was going to have their humor injected into it, and this movie, as I said, it's incredibly funny. I wasn't expecting to laugh as much as I did throughout this film. It's an incredibly funny movie. But not only is it incredibly funny, it's incredibly touching, it's heartfelt, it's got great characters that we get invested in and emotionally attached to throughout the film. You're invested in all these heroes, you care about all these heroes, and I most certainly, for one, definitely would love to see a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. I hope this thing does tremendously as well as it can, especially with all the movies that we've got coming out in December. I hope this movie does well. Please go and support Into the Spider-Verse. It's a fantastic movie. You know, I think a lot of us don't give Sony enough credit for what they've done with this Spider-Man character. Yes, they've given us The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yes, they gave us Spider-Man 3, which I don't mind, actually. But they gave us Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, which they worked on with Marvel. They also gave us Venom earlier on in the year, which, again, I didn't actually mind that much at all. And now they've knocked it out of the park with Into the Spider-Verse. So, guys, obviously, I recommend you go see this movie. I love this movie. I thoroughly had a great time. So go and see Into the Spider-Verse when it comes out on December 13th or 14th, depending on where you live. My name is Tom. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. And I will see you guys next time.